Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students, how are you? Today I am going to deliver my lecture on the chapter number 4, Islamic Republic of Pakistan. We have to discuss the constitution in the steps towards Islamic Republic of Pakistan. What is the definition of constitution? Constitution is a system in the rules and regulations just to run the governmental affairs. Now we have to define the constitution. A body of the fundamental principle are established precedents. Precedents means rules according to which a state or other organization is acknowledged to be governed. When the Pakistan came into being before partition, it was decided by the British government that both the India and the Pakistan that they have to run their governmental affair according to the India Act of 1935 as an interim constitution until unless their Constituent Assembly will frame their constitution. So after the partition, that the objective resolution were formed on the 12th March 1949 by the Constituent Assembly of Pakistan just to frame the constitution for the Pakistan or to set the rules for making a new constitution. Now we have to discuss the salient features of the objective resolution. That what were the objectives resolution? Objectives mean the purposes and that the resolution were moved by the Constituent Assembly. And to set the rules and regulations and the principles for the coming constitution of Pakistan. First, we have to discuss the objective resolution. That the salient feature of the objective resolution are as follows. Number one, sovereignty of Allah. That all the absolute and the supreme authority belongs to Allah. No one can challenge the sovereignty of Allah and the authority of Allah on this universe if the representative like the president and the prime minister are elected by the public, that they have to run the governmental affairs according to the desire and wish of the public. So if the authority is given by the government to the president and the prime minister, but they although that they are sovereign in their authority, but they are responsible to the God for their good and the bad deeds. So on the day of judgment, they were accountable and answerable for their deeds. Number second, democracy. That the Pakistan is a democratic country. That all the representative of the government are elected by the public. That the democracy means the government of the public by the public, and that the democracy is a government of the people by the people and for the people. Power to rule the state has been delegated by Allah to the people of Pakistan. It is a sacred trust, and the people of Pakistan shall exercise their authority strictly in accordance with divine injunctions. That the power of the state shall be exercised through the chosen the representatives of the people. So when the objective resolution was set just to frame the new constitution for the Pakistan, so the directive principles of the policy should be provided by the government just for making the new constitution. And the objective resolution contain the following salient feature like the sovereignty of Allah, democracy. Number third, Islamic conduct of state. That the Islamic principle of the democracy, freedom, tolerance should be followed in the country. Promotion of Islamic way of life. That the facilities will be provided to the Muslims in order to enabling them to model their life in accordance with the teaching of the Holy Quran and Sunnah. That they should model their life according to the Islamic way of life, because we are Muslim. So the safeguards of the minority rights. Minorities have the fundamental rights in our country, although that they are in a minority, not in majority, but they should enjoy all the fundamental rights in the country. That they have the right to worship their religion, that they have the right to get the education, that they have the right to cast their vote. Now we have to discuss the independence of judiciary. That the judiciary is not bound just to take any decision according to the affected person or the party. That there is an independence of the judiciary. That the judiciary should work out of pressure. It's a duty of the judiciary that to enforce the laws in the country, and the independence of the judiciary should be given by the constitution in the country. It should work according to the Islamic principles, and the Islamic principles shall be made totally independent of the executive and the legislative organs of the government. All the rules should be enforced by the judiciary in the country. Safeguards of the fundamental human rights. All the human rights are safeguarded by the constitution in the country. In the constitution, fundamental human rights are given to the people. No one can deprive the other person from his basic rights. So what is the significance and the impacts of the objective resolution? Objective resolution was made a part of the constitution, and it is a preamble to all the constitution of the Pakistan. So in order to give the objective resolution a legal status, it was that the legal status were given to the objective resolution according to the 8th Amendment, which were brought in the Constitution of 1973. That the Constitution, after the significance and the impact of the objective resolution, that the Islamic provisions of 1956 Constitution, then the 1956 Constitution were framed by the government according to the rules and regulations which were followed by the objective resolution by the Constituent Assembly of the Pakistan according to the objectives resolution, because the Constituent Assembly framed the constitution for the country. So the new constitution were formed by the Constituent Assembly of the Pakistan in 1956. So what were the salient feature of the and the Islamic provisions of the 1956 Constitution? Here we have to discuss only the Islamic provisions. As you know about the sovereignty of Allah, and we discuss in the objective resolution. So what is the Islamic Republic? That the Pakistan is a Islamic Republic. For the first time the state was proclaimed an Islamic Republic. It was given the name of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. That the Muslim head of the state, that our state and the government should run according to the Islamic teaching in the according to teaching of Holy Quran and Sunnah. So the head of the state must be a Muslim, because the non-Muslim head cannot run the governmental affairs according to the Islamic injunctions and teachings. So it is must that the Muslim head of the state should be appointed. Then the democracy, justice, liberty, and the equality. The preamble said that the Qaid-e-Azam declared the Pakistan as a democratic state based on the Islamic principle of the social justice, liberty, and equality. The state of Pakistan shall enable its citizens to model their life in accordance with the tenets of Islam. Tenets of Islam means that the rules according to the rules of Islam. So the implementation of the Islamic law. Islamic law should be implemented in the country. Then the Muslims can follow all the rules and the regulation of the government as it is given in the constitution, that all the Islamic rules should be followed in the country. That the promotion of Islamic values, all the Islamic values should be followed in the country. And the no law made according which is against to the Islamic teaching, it should be changed. Then the promotion of the Islamic values, and the directive principle of the state policy provided for the preservation and promotion of Islamic values. It was said that the illiteracy shall be eliminated, all the social evils shall be eliminated, and the working condition of the labor class, that it should be improved. Then that all the system should be that the banking system should be free from interest. The interest-free banking system should be followed in the country, and the gambling, drinking, and the prostitution shall be eliminated. The government shall try to ensure that all the citizens are provided food, shelter, cloth, and basic health facilities. That it is must for the government just to provide the food, cloth, and the shelter for the citizen, and the opportunities should be provided to all the citizens just to cover their basic needs of life. Relation with the Muslim countries. So the Pakistan have to maintain a cordial relation with the other states of the world. Pakistan have to maintain a pleasant and the cordial relation. So now we have to discuss the Islamic provisions of 1962 Constitution, sovereignty of Allah, as you know about the absolute and supreme authority of Allah, then the Islamic Republic, that Islamic teaching should be followed in the Pakistan because the Pakistan is an Islamic Republic. Muslim head of the state, as you know about the Muslim head of the state in the previous constitution, that we discussed the Muslim head of the state, supremacy of the Islamic law. All the Islamic laws should be followed in the country, establishment of the Islamic society. In this society, all the social evils shall be eliminated. Fundamental rights should be given to all the citizens. Then the gambling, then the drinking and the prostitution should be eliminated. Working hours of the labor class should be improved. Proper wages should be given to them. Then the safeguard of the Islamic institution that the masajid, zakat, awqaf system should be improved. Just to give just to provide the better opportunities of the Islamic teaching to all the citizens. Building of a progressive welfare society. In the welfare society, that the equal opportunities provided to all the people, that no one can be deprived from their basic needs of life, from their fundamental human rights. Life, it is this is the right of every student to get the education, to get the job opportunities, to worship his religion. Safeguard of minorities. Minorities have all the rights, fundamental human rights, that they can enjoy in the state, that they can worship their religion, that they can get the job opportunities, get the education. Establishment of the Islamic Research Institute. Why the Islamic Research Institute established according to the Constitution 1962, and it is a duty of the Islamic Research Institute just to research about whether the laws are formed according to Islamic teaching or not. If the laws are not formed according to the Islamic teaching, then the same is the case with the Islamic Advisory Council. This is a duty of the Islamic Advisory Council to give the advice about that all the laws should be framed according to the Islamic teaching. Then the Islamic provisions of 1973 Constitution. As you know about the sovereignty of Allah Almighty, the Islamic Republic and the State Republic. Then the Muslim heads of the state and the government, that all the that the Muslims, only the Muslims should be appointed as the head of the state and the government. In this way, that they can run the governmental affairs according to the Islamic teaching. Definition of a Muslim. This is a new clause which is introduced in the according to the provision of Islamic provision of 1973 Constitution, that for the first time in the Constitution of 1973, that the Constitution defined Muslim in a clear terms. This definition was incorporated as a part of the oath of office to be administered to the President and the Prime Minister under third schedule of the Constitution. Under this definition, a person who did not believe on the oneness of God, on the Prophet, on the Day of Judgment, and the teaching of Holy Quran, he is ceased to be a Muslim. He cannot be called as Muslim. Further, that the Qadianis and the Mirzaites were declared as the non-Muslim because that they have no belief on the prophethood, so that they have that they are declared as the non-Muslim. So the rules and the regulations which are formed by the Mirzai and Qadianis should not be followed in an Islamic state. So the solidarity with the Muslim Council of Islamic Ideology and the establishment of an Islamic society, that all the Islamic rules should be followed in the society, and all the social evils should be eliminated from the society. Preservation of Islamic institution and the values. All the Islamic institutions like the masajid and the awqaf system should be improved in the country, and all the moral values should be introduced in the country. Affirmation of the Pakistan ideology. We lived in the in an Islamic Islamic state, so we have to follow the Pakistan ideology, because on the name of the Islamic ideology that the Pakistan came into being. It's a duty of the government just to recognize the Islamic ideology in the country. The Council of Islamic Ideology, this is the duty of the Council of Islamic Ideology, just to introduce and the Islamic rules in the constitution, and just to introduce the Islamic teaching and the rules in the country. No law should be framed against the Islamic teaching in the Holy Quran and the Sunnah. If any law which is formed not to the Islamic teaching, it should be changed. So the solidarity with the Muslim world, Pakistan have to maintain this relation with the Islamic countries, with the Muslim countries of the world. Just Pakistan is a member of the OIC, so the Pakistan always supported the Muslim countries at the in any conference or in any convention which is held on the world level. So the Pakistan being a non-permanent member of the Security Council, and that the Pakistan always supported the Muslim countries. If there is any issue like the Kashmir issue, like the Palestine issue and the Afghanistan, that these disputes and the issue should be settled, because Pakistan has a cordial relation with the Muslim countries of the world. Now the steps which is taken for the Islamization 1949 to 1977, that the Nizam-e Islam movement were launched in the country, because according to the Islamic rituals and according to Islamic teaching, that we should run the governmental system and the policies according to the Nizam-e Mustafa. Nizam-e Mustafa, which is that we have to follow the Sunnat of Holy Prophet, peace be upon him. We should run our society according to the Nizam-e Mustafa. Nizam-e Mustafa means that we have to follow the Hadith and the Sunnah of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him. We should introduce the Islamic system in our society. The objective resolution, we have to follow the objective resolution, because the objective resolution contain all the Islamic rules. 22 points of the ulama, that the ulama set the 22 points for our Islamic society, that we have to follow the Islamic rules in our society, and we have to introduce that the interest-free system in the country. This is the duty of the government and the state, just to introduce the interest-free banking system in the country, that all the social evils should be eliminated from the society, and the Islamic laws introduced in the country. Ulama from all school of thoughts, that they joined hands to formulate 22 that the agreed principle which could serve as the foundation of an Islamic system of government for the Pakistan, just to introduce all the Islamic system in the banking system, in the different corporations, in the companies. We have to follow the Islamic rules, so that the Siratun Nabi should be followed in the country, that all the Mashayikh conferences should be held in the country, so that there should be Kirat and the Naat competition in the country, and according to the Islamic rules, that all the Islamic principles should be followed in the country, that there should be that the printing of the Holy Quran should be free from error, and the censorship policy should be followed in the showbiz, in the media, and on the just for the in the TV transmission and in the radio and the TV transmission, that the censorship policy should be followed. Only the Islamic programs should be aligned for the young generation. In this way, that they cannot be exploited. Islam and the constitution making according to Islamic rules, and according to the Islamic rules and regulations, that the constitution should be framed. Tehreek-e-Nizam-e Mustafa should be launched in the country, that all the rules and the policies should be framed according to the Islamic teaching, according to the Hadith. We have to follow and that the Sunnah of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him. Steps towards Islamization since 1977, judiciary and the legal system. In the legal and the judiciary system, all the Islamic penalties, that while for the when the any case brought in the court, in the judiciary, that the Islamic laws should be followed, that the Islamic penalties should be imposed on the crimes like the drinking, gambling, adultery, and the false allegation of adultery. A federal Shariat court should be set up just to take all the decision according to the Sharia. Un-Islamic practices should be abolished. Like while taking the decision in the court and the judiciary, all the un-Islamic practices should be eliminated. So the Islamic University Islamabad, that Islamic University Islamabad, just it is established just to introduce the Islamic rules, and the law students should get the education according to the fiqh, and the fiqh education should be given to the students in the Islamic University Islamabad. The objective resolution adjustable part, that the legal status given to the objective resolution, and it became the part and parcel for all the constitution in the Pakistan according to the Constitution of 1973, according to 8th Amendment, which is taken in 1985, that the legal status were given to the objective resolution. Then the financial matter, Nizam Zakat improved in the country, interest-free economy that introduced in the country, distribution of Ushr and the Rabi crop, that the Zakat system improved in the country, and that the distribution of Ushr and the Rabi crop, that the tax were the taxes which is imposed on the industries in the Pakistan and on the agricultural products in the Pakistan, so that there should be a distribution of Ushr and the Rabi crop. Revival of religious spirit, Zohr prayers were made compulsory because all the Islamic steps were taken in the country. Ramzan ordinance were introduced, that all the cinemas and the hotels, restaurants were closed in the Ramzan. That the derogatory remarks about was made a penal offense. That if the derogatory remarks passed against the Prophet, peace be upon him, against the Ahl Bayt, so these persons should be punished. That the Wafaqi Muhtasib, while the office of the Wafaqi Muhtasib were introduced just against the complaint of the governmental institutes, that the Wafaqi Muhtasib office were set. Then the broadcasting Assam. If the citizen have any complaint against the governmental department, that they can file their case in the Wafaqi Muhtasib, and Wafaqi Muhtasib person is a retired judge of the court. So all the grievances and the complaints of the citizen can be referred to the office of the Wafaqi Muhtasib. So the compensation should be made by the Wafaqi Muhtasib for the affected citizen. So the broadcasting azan, that the azan should be broadcasted through on the media, on social media, that especially on the radio and television. Then the education Islamic studies made compulsory subject, just we know about our Islamic teaching. Enhance prestige of the ulama, and the prestige of the ulama, that is, it is enhanced in the society. That the ulama, in order to enhance the prestige of the ulama in the society, that the higher degrees of the religious institutions were recognized to get par with BA and the MA degrees. Then the armed forces and the religious teachers in the armed forces for the first time were given the status of commissioned officer. Masajid and the Masjid Maktab scheme were introduced for the Islamization of education and the system of the elementary level. A Masjid Maktab scheme, that the elementary system, that the elementary education was started in the Masjid Maktab scheme just to give the more education to the students, and the fiqh Islamic jurisprudence was introduced as a compulsory subject for the law graduated. That the fiqh system and the Islamic jurisprudence were started, building so that they can take decision about the cases according to the Islamic teaching. Then the building of the Islamic nation spirit, Pakistan studies were introduced as a compulsory subject. Then the wearing of the national dress, on the in the education institute and in the courts. So in the traditional delivering formal address in Urdu language, especially the public address which is delivered by the President, the Prime Minister must be in the Urdu language. Then the Islamization of the electronic media, and the electronic, it's a duty of the electronic media just to launch all the program according to the Islamic teaching, that the Islamic image should be set up by our mass media. Indecent and un-Islamic programs should be banned. Teaching of Holy Quran and the Arabic. Setup of the program should be launched by the media. Live Hajj transmission, that there is always a live Hajj transmission on the TV, on the TV and the such type of the live Hajj transmission on the media, that all the people know about the live Hajj program. Then the Shariat Bill 1991, that the Parliament passed a Sharia bill just to introduce the Sharia in the country, and the Islam were made at the justiciable law of the land. Now this is all about my lecture. Take care of yourself. Thank you.